Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Avi Storm, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about self-care, but not the kind you see all over Instagram. Bubble baths, candles, cute planners. I mean real functional self-care. The kind that actually makes you feel alive, restores your energy, and stops you from falling into that constant, exhausted zombie mode we all know too well. So, let's start with a little honesty. How many times have you done a self-care day? Taken a bath, painted your nails, watched a show, maybe ate some chocolate, and then went to bed feeling exactly the same? Yeah, me too. That's because self-care isn't about checking off Instagrammable tasks. It's about intentional actions that restore you, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And here's the kicker. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be relaxing in the traditional sense. Sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it's actually really uncomfortable. I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I realized that I was constantly saying yes to everything: social plans, work requests, even people who were just emotionally draining. And don't get me wrong, I love my friends, but every time I said yes when I didn't want to, it was like I was giving away my energy for free. One day, I just said no, and it felt weird, awkward, guilt-ridden. But then, after a few days, I realized my energy was back. I could focus. I was calmer. I wasn't running on fumes. That's self-care. Setting boundaries might not feel luxurious, but it's life-changing. Now let's talk about some practical ways to recharge, but the kind that aren't basic. Not the drink water, sleep, walk outside type. Those are great, don't get me wrong, but I want to give you tips that will actually surprise you, that you can try today, and that feel personal. First, microenvironment shifts. I cannot stress this enough. Most people underestimate the power of their surroundings. Sometimes you don't need a spa day. You need to rearrange your desk, open a window, move your bed around, or even just declutter your nightstand. A tiny change in your space can trick your brain into feeling like something new is happening, and that's refreshing. My personal favorite? I move my plants around every month. Sounds silly, but seeing the same leaves in a different spot somehow makes my brain feel like it's had a mini vacation. Next, auditory self-care. I'm not talking about music playlists, although those are great. I mean actively curating soundscapes that affect your mood. For instance, I have a 15-minute playlist of forest sounds, rain, and distant thunderstorms. I play it when I need to reset my brain or when I feel overwhelmed by the chaos of notifications. Even 5 minutes of intentional listening can calm your nervous system more than scrolling TikTok for an hour. Here's one I love. Reverse planning your day for self-care energy. Instead of cramming tasks into your day and trying to fit in self-care, plan your day around what energizes you. If you know that creative work gives you a boost in the morning, do that first. Leave the draining calls, emails, or chores for later. Structuring your day around your energy, instead of around obligations, is a form of self-care most people ignore. Scent therapy beyond candles. Again, not just buy a candle. I use essential oils in very targeted ways, like a few drops on a handkerchief to keep in my bag for stressful moments, or eucalyptus near my desk when I feel foggy. Certain scents can actually trigger focus, calm, or energy, and you can make it very personal. Lavender for sleep? Obvious. But rosemary for focus, peppermint for energy. Small tweaks like that are subtle and effective. And here's one that most people never talk about: micro-adventures. I don't mean booking a trip to Bali or anything crazy, just tiny escapes that make your brain feel alive. Like, one day last week, I walked down streets in my neighborhood I'd literally never noticed before, found a tiny cafe, listened to a street musician, and honestly, my mood did a complete 180. It's crazy how stepping out of the usual routine, even for 20 minutes, can reset your energy. It's like giving your brain a little coffee without the caffeine crash. Also, let's talk food as self-care, but not in the basic eat salads, drink water way. I'm talking about really fun, mood-boosting foods. I'm a huge fan of dark chocolate bites when I'm stressed. It's like a mini party in my mouth and my serotonin jumps. Or adding something colorful to your breakfast. Berries, avocado, literally anything that makes your plate look like a rainbow. It's small, but trust me, your brain notices. Bonus, it makes Instagram stories slightly more tolerable, Now, something super underrated, body resets during the day. No, not a full gym session. I mean things like standing up, stretching weirdly, or doing a couple of squats between Zoom calls. Sounds dumb? Sure. But a few minutes of intentional movement throughout your day makes your body feel less like a sluggish potato and more like, I don't know, a functioning human being. And if anyone judges you, just tell them it's for self-care. They'll either join or back off. Another one I swear by, mental playlists. Not just songs, I mean creating little mental routines. Like when I get stressed, I have a sequence of tiny things that automatically reset me. Water, 5 deep breaths, look out the window, stretch my shoulders. Doing the same few things consistently trains your brain to hit reset without needing to binge something or overthink. It's like your own personal reset button. Let me get real for a sec. Sometimes self-care isn't cute at all. Sometimes it's messy therapy at home. I had a night recently where I just cried it out while blasting my favorite sad songs, wrote down everything I hated about the week, and then went for a 10-minute walk in the cold. Sounds dramatic? Totally. But by the end, I felt lighter, like my brain actually unclogged. Moral of the story, self-care doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to work. Here's a wild one. Play the what if it goes right game. Most of us are wired to stress about everything going wrong. What if you flipped it and imagined things going right instead? I do this sometimes when I feel overwhelmed. Imagine sending that awkward text and the person actually responds nicely. Or imagine speaking up in a group and everyone actually listens. It's silly, but it shifts your energy from panic to possibility. Totally underrated mental self-care. I also like tiny creative bursts. Like, you don't have to paint a masterpiece, just scribble in a notebook, take a few photos of your day, or even make a weird doodle. Creativity, even in the tiniest forms, helps your brain feel like it's doing something it actually loves instead of just surviving. And honestly, it's fun. You can even show a friend your ridiculous doodles. They'll laugh, and laughter is literally self-care. Oh, and let's not forget gratitude micro moments. I don't mean forcing yourself to write a list of 50 things every morning. I mean noticing small stuff, like that weirdly perfect cup of coffee, the way your cat looked at you like you're the chosen one, or even realizing you remembered to pay that one bill before it became a crisis. Little tiny wins and joys matter. And here's a tip straight from my own weird brain. Make energy pockets. I literally plan moments in my day where I do something that fills me up, no excuses. Could be watching a 5-minute funny TikTok, dancing to one song, making a ridiculously complicated latte just for fun, or texting someone I haven't talked to in a while who makes me laugh. Tiny, intentional pockets of joy. They're small, but they accumulate, and suddenly your day feels way lighter. Finally, one last thing that's maybe too real. Accept the messy days. Some days, you literally cannot recharge, and that's fine. Self-care also means not beating yourself up for failing at self-care. Some days you eat chips in bed while watching reality TV, and that's okay. Other days you cry in the shower for no reason. Life happens. The point is to notice, reflect, and try again tomorrow. It's all practice. So yeah, if you've been thinking self-care is just bubble baths, Instagram aesthetics, or cute planners, it's time to upgrade your definition. Recharge your mind, protect your energy, experiment with weird little hacks, and do the things that actually restore you. And yes, bubble baths are optional, but if you throw in a bath with a good playlist and a tiny chocolate treat, don't lie, it's magical. And here's something I started doing recently that's honestly a game changer. One thing a day that scares me a little. Not skydiving or anything dramatic, more like small, slightly uncomfortable stuff. Like texting someone I've been avoiding because I'm nervous they'll ghost me, or speaking up in a Zoom call even when I feel awkward. One day, I even complimented a stranger on their shoes just to push myself out of my comfort zone. Sounds silly, but that little adrenaline rush is like a mini energy shot. By the end of the week, I was noticeably more confident, my brain felt sharper, and I swear I even smiled more. That's self-care through growth. Now, let's talk about self-care for your brain, not just your body. Ever tried learning something small just for fun? Like a new word in another language, a magic trick, or a weird skill on YouTube? A few months ago, I started learning a couple of card tricks for literally no reason other than I wanted to. It sounds silly, but my brain felt alive in a way that scrolling never gives me. Mental stimulation can be just as restorative as a nap. It reminds your brain that it's more than work, stress, and chores. It can play, it can learn, it can feel alive. Oh, and let's not forget mini solo dates. Even if you don't have a partner, taking yourself out on little adventures is so underrated. Grab a coffee, go to a park, or walk down a random street in your city. I had a day last month where I just wandered around, bought a pastry I didn't need, and watched people for an hour. By the end, I felt oddly inspired. It's like giving yourself permission to enjoy your own company, which is honestly a huge act of self-care. Here's a quirky tip that really works for me: the 5-minute clean trick. Instead of tackling a huge messy apartment in a marathon session, I set a timer for 5 minutes and clean just one corner, one drawer, or one countertop. You'd be surprised how satisfying it is to complete a tiny task and see immediate results. It's like mini dopamine hits sprinkled through the day. Cleaning becomes less of a chore and more of a reset tool for your brain. One more for the road: random acts of creativity. I keep a tiny notebook for random ideas, funny captions, doodles, half-written poems, or weird inventions. Whenever I feel low energy, I open it and mess around. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. It's about creating for yourself, not anyone else. I swear, this little ritual has saved me from boredom-induced anxiety more than once. So yeah, real self-care isn't neat, pretty, or predictable. It's messy, personal, sometimes uncomfortable, often weird, and almost always fun if you let it be. Micro adventures, sensory boxes, mini solo dates, 5-minute cleans, mental playlists, random creativity — these are the little things that actually restore your energy in ways bubble baths and candles can't. And remember, self-care doesn't have to be Instagram perfect or make sense to anyone else. It's about what works for you, what makes your brain lighter, your mood better, and your energy sustainable. Some days it's dancing like an idiot. Other days it's staring at a leaf. And sometimes it's just saying no and staying home. All of it counts. So next time you think about self-care, don't just picture a bathtub. Picture your personal, weird, wonderful toolkit for staying alive and thriving. Build it, experiment, and keep it messy, fun, and unapologetically yours. All right, that's it for today's deep dive into real, no BS self-care. I hope some of these tips gave you ideas you actually want to try, and maybe even inspired you to rethink what taking care of yourself really looks like. Remember, self-care isn't just bubble baths or aesthetic Instagram vibes. It's the little things that actually refill your energy, quiet your brain, and make life feel a bit more manageable. If you got even one small idea from this video that might make your day a little easier or a little brighter, that's a win. And if you feel like sharing it, drop a comment below with your favorite self-care ritual or the weird little thing that actually makes you feel alive. I would love to read them. So I will see you in my next video. Until then, be kind to yourself, protect your energy, and remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. Bye!